Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars TV shows to arrive on Disney Plus by Disney and Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, you name it. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, as of right now, we do know that George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are really all working together as a team to deliver as much authentic Star Wars material as possible. That's exactly what they want to do for the fans, is that they really want to give them a lot of satisfaction when it comes to Star Wars. We've seen that a lot of fans walked away with the sequel trilogy and how a lot of fans were very unhappy with the way things were going. And, you know, can we really blame the Star Wars fans? I mean, they really do all have the right to do so, because Disney and Lucasfilm went against the Star Wars fans. You know, they went against Star Wars fandom and what they wanted to see on the big screen. So, when we go ahead and take a look at what's been going on with Lucasfilm, we do know that Disney has been making major changes at Lucasfilm. In fact, I don't know if you guys heard, but Lucasfilm was relocating and going all the way over to Burbank. This has been in the works for a number of years now, and it's finally now going to get established. They're moving their headquarters over to Burbank, you know, and I think that's going to be a very interesting move because they're obviously trying to get it closer to where Disney is. So, with that being said, of course, beyond all of this, when we look at Disney Plus as a streaming service, right? They are really banking on this because they believe that television is going to be the future and it's going to be a big side profit against the actual Star Wars movies themselves. You know, of course, we have a little hiatus until when we're going to see more Star Wars movies, but in the meantime, they're focusing more on Star Wars television. Now, with that being said, with the Rise of Skywalker now out of theaters, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been developing their new Star Wars universe for the fans around the world in order to create a better and brighter future for the franchise. Now, it's explained that Jon Favreau, George Lucas, and Dave Filoni are all working together as a team in order to evolve the Star Wars brand into something new. Now, however, Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been making major changes behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm in order to make Star Wars the biggest success it can be. Now, further, it's described that Lucasfilm, of course, that as of right now, creator Jon Favreau is restarting and resetting many aspects of the Rise of Skywalker and even The Last Jedi, and will play a large role in the development of the 4-hour cut of Episode 9 and the 3-hour cut of The Last Jedi that is still on track to arrive on Disney Plus sometime in 2023. So let's go over this for a second here. Let's stop right here. Now, what Bob Chapek is essentially allowing the creators to do is that they are going to unveil new cuts of these films. He's inspired by what's going on with the Snyder Cut of Justice League. We have seen of what's happening with the Snyder Cut and how it's going to be unveiled on HBO Max. Now, HBO Max is like, of course, HBO's version of Disney Plus. It's their new streaming service. It's going to have a lot of movies on there, TV shows, whatever have you. Except in this scenario, they are really going to establish the concept of new cuts of films being put on streaming services, and that's exactly what Disney wants to do, starting off with Star Wars. In fact, there's been a lot of talk that they even want to do this with Marvel movies eventually in the future. Now, to me, I don't think it's a bad idea necessarily. I just think that it might be a waste of time to focus on restarting these movies in a sense to where it's going to have a different meaning and all. Moving on. Now, it's described that one major change that Jon Favreau just made into the canon that will be unveiled in 2021 is that Rey's parents are going to have a far different backstory in this new version of The Rise of Skywalker. For one, Favreau, alright, is actually going to establish that Palpatine's son will become a legitimate son instead of just a clone through gene splicing, and will have served as Palpatine's apprentice on Exegol at one point in time that escaped and found Rey's mother. Now, on top of this, in terms of Rey's mother, Favreau is also set to establish that she was a powerful Force-sensitive individual in hiding, and that Luke Skywalker at one point in time was in search of Rey's mother well before Rey was even born. Now, Favreau was also going to establish that Ben Solo's spirit at the very end of Episode 9 will mean something entirely new, and that when Ben Solo vanishes after giving his life force to Rey, is that a part of him lives within Rey, making her a literal Skywalker, giving a better meaning to the official title of the film. So, once again, Favreau is trying to be as smart as he can when it comes to this major reset or restart of the sequel trilogy, by giving a different meaning to that overall sequence between both Ben and Rey, that life force exchange, right? It's not just that, however, though, is that Favreau will also be handling the new meaning of Luke Skywalker's death at the very end of The Last Jedi, and how it has something to do with the Wills, those godlike beings that are going to play a very large role in all of that, and how Luke was able to use the Force projection technique is also going to involve Anakin Skywalker's presence, guiding him throughout the world of Ahch-To. So, additionally, on top of all of this, alright, further, it's actually described that also the reset of The Rise of Skywalker will dive further into Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple and his students, and that the fans will begin to learn more about his Jedi Academy in the new versions of episodes 8 and 9, where it's said that Favreau is also going to insert the fact that it was the Force ghosts of the past that were able to destroy the Sith hiding in Palpatine's body. So they're going to touch more on the Sith that live within Palpatine. Even Palpatine stated that all the Sith live within me, right? And we never really got to learn all that much about that. Again, there were a lot of aspects thrown into this movie that were not fully explained, not even in the novelization, which I think was very poor of Lucasfilm and Disney to handle. I think that they handled things in a damage control mode, I think you could say. And when we go ahead and examine of exactly, what Kathleen Kennedy was doing, she was going back and forth with a lot of endings of episode 9, and what she even allowed Rian Johnson to do with The Last Jedi, giving us a very messy version of what the sequel trilogy could have been, right? So, further on top of all of this, Favreau is really trying to do exactly what the fans want to see and what they want to learn about. Now, Jon is also set to deliver a brand new meaning to the entire film in the new cut by helping with providing the deleted scenes and offering major retcons to the already existing footage in the movie in order to fix Kathleen Kennedy's mess. Not just that, but also the new version of The Rise of Skywalker is set to use unused themes by John Williams that will be used in the new cut of the movie on Disney+, and that Jon will have a major role in deciding as to where they will be placed in the new film. Now, it's described that this is going to be a major plan by Bob Chapek in order to gain back the lost fans that walked away from the franchise back in 2019. Now, however, Kathleen Kennedy is said to be very unhappy, not a big surprise, about this big choice by Jon Favreau and Bob Chapek, and that Kennedy wants this to stop, since she is the one who made the choices for that film. So once again, we have Kathleen Kennedy opposed to this decision. She's very much against it. She doesn't like the fact that, major retcons and fixes are being made to the sequel trilogy, and honestly, I think that I'm a little mixed on this. One part of me says that it's a big waste of time and that we should just put it in the past and just forget about those movies and just move forward. But at the same exact time, I feel that a lot of the work that was only partially filmed deserves to be seen in a very special way, and I guess you could say that this is Bob Chapek's way of creating his own legacy and giving Jon Favreau, George Lucas, and Dave Filoni a shot at doing something incredible. Now, apart from this, additionally, it's also noted that Dave Filoni will be helping Jon with establishing new lore into the new cut of Episode 9 and even Episode 8, so that the fans can enjoy the sequel trilogy in a better way. Jon is also going to fix many aspects of The Last Jedi by doing very similar scenarios. So Dave Filoni is another creator at heart that is very passionate about Star Wars. He loves the franchise. Let's not forget that he is a pioneer. He is the very first person to establish animated material. And then you got Jon Favreau, the very first person to establish live action material in the known Star Wars universe, in the franchise overall, right? So like I've said before in the past, guys, we're still on the road to success here. Let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.